Oh, oh,
Hey,
oh, we're live.
what do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands? I don't know what to do.
So we've been trying to do this now for how long, Mark?
Been a minute.
It's been a minute. And it took us a while to come up with a name, and then we came up with a name. So this is Zero Trucks Given podcast. I'm Tommy Late Night, and you are
I'm Mark Daytime.
Mark Noon.
Mark Noon? Nooner?
Nooner. Better than Mark Moon.
Well, listen, my nickname all through high school was Ferris because my last name is Bueller. Hence that guy right up there. You see that?
Hey, buddy.
Nickname was Ferris all through high school, and then when I got out of high school, my nickname became Spaz by a guy that was thought I was pretty crazy, and I had a nickname Spaz all the way through until I got married to my wife and then had kids and slowed down. So now I'm just known as Vintage. People call me Vintage. I look like Vintage. My screen name everywhere is the Vintage Drop Shop, so people just call me Vintage. Mark or Vintage, one of the two.
Or Vintage Mark. You're like a fine wine.
I am like a fine wine. I have aged well. My hair's fallen out and my beard's turned white, so I look like Santa Claus. Plus, you know what I just realized? We're both teachers. Like, you're a real teacher, but I'm a first grade teacher. Kind of the same thing.
Really,
same, but different. Same, but different.
I'm in my third year, so yeah, I guess you could say I'm a real teacher.
I'm on my second year, so I mean, we're cooking with bacon. Yeah, I got one class all day. And
if I get my master's degree, I'll become a college professor and just have one class and make college professor money, which is probably not that good as a public school teacher.
Or this will just be so big that at the end of this, we'll be doing live podcast shows across the United States.
From your lips to God's ears.
I mean, you got to speak it into fruition somehow, right?
Yeah, right.
We'll be famous. You know what? We're probably famous already in like Taiwan or somewhere.
I know my bank account is famous with several Mattel sellers and stuff like that because of what I've been collecting and stuff like that. So let's hit the elephant in the room. Why did we go with Zero Trucks Given for the name of our podcast?
Because at the end of the day, we realize at our age, we just don't give a truck anymore.
Pretty much.
We just don't. Listen, at a certain age, you realize you can park your car up on the curb and not care about if somebody's pissed off. You can park in the I'm going to go in 15-minute section and stay in there for 2 hours. You can, it doesn't matter. You wear New Balance shoes out with a cut off t-shirt and a hat sideways. Who cares?
I
No trucks.
care. I'm not trying to impress anybody.
Like, we have kids. Until you have children, which are children of this day and age, it doesn't matter what we think anymore. It doesn't, who cares? Like, literally.
And you're a parent. Like, I'm a rookie parent, like my kid's young. The ghoul is very young. So I consider myself a rookie parent. And I guess so actually tomorrow's my birthday.
That's right. It is. I almost wished you a happy birthday today early so I could be the first person. But I said, you know what? My alarm's on my phone. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, you're going to get the first one from me.
So tomorrow's my birthday. I'm turning 44. I stopped caring at like 37, 38.
Yep.
And as time goes on, like my mother's in her 60s. You want to talk about someone Zero Trucks Given? My mother is the living embodiment of Zero Trucks Given.
I always think of my grandma's. My grandmother. So where we lived in our hometown, my grandma lived a mile down the street, right? And she did the flowers for our church. She always had Buick Park Avenues. That was like her love of a car. Grandpa died in 86. So grandma always had these Park Avenues. Well, my dad made the mistake of getting her the luxury Park Avenue with the V6 supercharged engine in it, which would burn the tires off all the way down the street. It's basically a Grand National motor in a front wheel drive Park Avenue. And I remember when I got to drive, I would take it out and just roast the tires off. And I'm like, Grandma shouldn't have a car this fast. Well, she got to the age, she would go up and do the flowers in the church and then come back home and watch TV and doze off and wake up at the last second, realize she's late. And we would see this silver streak fly past our house. And I'm like, that was Grandma doing Mach 3 to get to church in time. And so she stopped giving trucks, Zero Trucks Given. She would get in her car, get out of her car, put it in neutral, and just walk away from the car, and it would roll into a trash container, and she'd be like, whatever. Or it'd roll into a tree, or it could wedge into another car, and she'd be like, whatever. And then she'd run into church. We'd find her car parked at an angle down like at a tree, and I'm going, did she just hit the tree and then just get out? No, she just thought she had it in park, and it was in neutral, and let it roll. And so we had to take the car away from her. It was too fast for her. And I asked her one day, I was like, did you realize? She goes, oh, I thought it was in park. That's the epitome of no truck given. Just,
I don't care. I don't
Don't
care.
care.
I
Didn't
don't
want to be
care.
late for church.
I hear my mother in my head right now. I don't care. I don't care.
I
I don't
don't
care.
care.
I don't care. That North Jersey accent. I don't care. I
Right?
don't Ask me if I care. That's what
Yeah.
she does. Ask me if I care.
You guys got the great accents over there too. We don't have any cool accents here.
It's surprising I don't have the accent. So we discuss diecast, we discuss monster trucks, we discuss collectibles, but the goal here is kind of like to relate our hobby with life lessons, right? So kick it off right now. Like, have you collected anything this week? Has anything come in this week that you're like super stoked about? I feel
This
like
week,
ideally, so it's like it's a show and tell, and I know you're a little unprepared for show and tell, Mark, but that's
Stars
okay.
and Stars and Stripes are always a bonus when you can find them, although they are starting to pop up now. I did get this in. I don't know if this you consider this a grail, but I did get this guy in. This is the Pixar
Oh, really?
Mater, and it's missing this thing on the back, which I didn't
Mhm.
realize when I bought it. But as of this week, that's one of the cooler ones that I got. Most of my stuff, like you said, is at the shop. I don't have anything that I can be like, oh, I got it's right here.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, that I don't have. But I mean, I have grails definitely in the diecast world. So the monster truck world, to me, as you know, is new. I love the monster trucks, but I don't have. And I told Casa this tonight. I'm like, I don't have all the stars and stripes and the gears and galaxies. I don't have
Mhm.
any of that. I mean, I'm in the business where I'm a reseller. I resell this stuff, and I've got customs, which I think are the coolest things because they're one of ones, right? They're like pieces of
Yeah.
art. That's what I collect. But now that my kids, like your ghoul, loves to paint trucks. So our new thing is now we rip bodies apart. The kids paint the chassis, and then we do the kids' raid trains, and then they sell their trucks and whatever money they got, they go buy more monster trucks to do it all over again because it's just that
Right on.
vicious cycle. But it's cool to watch them paint stuff. And I tried to be a customizer, and I'm like, nope, that ship has sailed. Not for
I'm
me.
more. I'm a better custom buyer than I am a customizer.
There it is. I'm a custom buyer. That's right.
So I'm new to the diecast community. I started collecting, and so I mean, look, let's face facts, all right? Like Hot Wheels cars, monster trucks, stuff like that. Like Hot Wheels, especially. I think at every point in a person's life, at a young age, at boys, girls, there's that car phase, and some people grow out of it, some people don't, and that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody likes to collect something. So my son got some monster trucks from Santa, and it was just kind of like on a whim because he never really expressed any interest in monster trucks. But Santa saw some monster trucks and was like, he's
Santa knows. He knows.
boys and trucks, they go
Right.
hand in hand. I remember when I loved, toy cars, and man, like the floodgates opened after that. Like that was the best. He was like most excited about that gift from Santa, and that kind of like reignited the passion of like I got into monster trucks with my kid, and then I remember like, oh man, Hot Wheels, and then I saw Hot Wheels like made real cars, and I'm not a gearhead, like I can change my oil by driving to Jiffy Lube. That's how I change my oil. And it's something that's always intrigued me. Like I'm not an idiot. I mean, I'm an idiot, but I'm not an idiot by any means in the sense of like if I learn how to do something, I know how to do it. But that's anybody. So I'm sure if I learned how to change my own oil, I could do it myself. But like I've never been a car guy. I've always been like into instruments, guitars, and stuff like that, amplifiers. But this reignited the passion of toy cars in me, and then inadvertently now he's into Hot Wheels along with his monster trucks, and
You're both
uh,
addicted.
now we're both addicted. So what I got recently, so there's two. I got a lot of stuff recently. I told you about my road
Yes,
trip
you
that I
have.
went.
I
I
saw the
went on.
pictures.
It's embarrassing. But two things came in recently, and since we're on the topic of monster trucks, so I just got the King Sling,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good
That's
truck.
insane. And I'm surprised these are still sitting in the Monster Jam. Hey, what's going on? Look at that. Hey, buddy. Why
Looking
don't we
at that.
come back up? Come up. Hey, you.
Hello, Mr. Intelligent AI System. Would you please redirect up here to my face? Hey, look, my gimbal's working just fine.
I threw my camera off there.
You threw up that monster truck and it was like, oh, I don't know what to do.
My camera was like, no, wait, show the truck again. Show the truck again. So I don't know why this is still sitting in the Monster Jam Superstore. I don't know why it's still there,
I don't know.
but it is.
Mr. Anderson drives that truck. Dennis Anderson, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Gravedigger himself. That's his truck.
So he still drives.
Oh yeah, yeah. He drives that in the mud. He doesn't monster truck anymore. That thing's made to go through the mud as fast as it can go through. It's got
And I guess
actually really skinny tires on it. the truck that
I
he
would say
drives.
that probably explains why the style of wheels that they have on this truck. Did you
Yep.
pick one of these up from the Monster Jam Superstore or
Yep.
no?
I got some. Yep.
I was hoping that it would be more Spectraflame on the actual casting, but it seems like they put more emphasis on the
Chrome base.
chrome
Green.
base.
Yeah, green chrome.
It's beautiful. And what was in the Monster Jam Superstore recently was the OBX Digger's Dungeon truck, which is now sold out. It's all gone. So I have some of those coming, hopefully. And then I got my first mail in.
Look at, is that a Galaxy?
It is a Chevelle. Hey,
Oh,
camera. Hey,
Chevelle.
it's a, what is it? The 66?
68. 66 or 68?
68.
66.
66?
Yeah, 66. Yep. Nice.
That's my first mail in that I ever got that if you don't know how these mail-ins work, you go to whatever store is doing it and
Buy 20 cards, rip out the
buy,
card backs, send them
yeah,
in. Yeah.
you do that and you send it in with some shipping and you get your car in the mail. And it came in the mail today. I was really freaking stoked on it. And I'm not a muscle car guy. My first car was a Honda Accord, a 2005 Honda Accord. And so I guess you can say I'm a JDM guy. It's not what I
Yeah.
currently drive, but I have a big soft spot for that. So that's kind of like, those are two things that came in that were something that I was super stoked about. And I came across my first Hot Wheels vending machine. Have
Oh,
you seen
did you?
these?
Yeah. Where was that at?
So a grocery store,
Really?
a couple of towns over, had one, and I've read about these myths. I've read about the myth of the Pokemon vending machine, and then I heard about the Hot Wheels vending machine, and I was at my first like Hot Wheels diecast swap meet, and I overheard some guys talking about, oh, did you see ShopRite on Paulson Ave in Passaic got a Hot Wheels vending machine? And I was like, what? And they were all like, it's not worth it. Don't go. It's not worth it. It's like $10 for treasure hunt. Don't go. It's not worth it. It's not. And me not caring, I wanted to see for myself.
Off you went.
Off I went. Not that day. I went 2 days ago, I think. Now, do they have treasure hunts?
Did you
I
buy
don't.
something out of it?
Of course I did. I got some.
You are
old.
You are the
I got some-
demographic that they are hunting for. You are it.
But you know what? They weren't $10.
How much were they?
They were $5 each.
I
So
mean-
these are 2017 Civic Type R's in black, $5 each.
They got you with the red and black. It was the color that got you.
It was. And this Mazda RX-7 was kind of like the potato chips stuck, like hanging like, oh, if I get that car or if I get that bag of chips, it'll knock those.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll drop. But yeah, I purchased the one car and it hit it and it fell. So I got 3 for 2.
I mean, that's not a bad gig. Got a spare car of the deal.
Yeah. And then you're going to be upset about this, but I promised I would help you out. But I managed to get
yes,
another.
Such a beautiful car. I need one of those so bad.
43.
I actually had that was one of my favorite cars growing up. Mine was the Midori green color. In the Honda world, the Midori green 1996 Honda Civic hatchback was only produced in 1996. That was the only year you could get the Midori green. And it's a cult following, that color. And I had everything JDM. I did a JDM B16B, which I know you don't know what that means, but that's the JDM motor that came in that car from Japan.
The engine, yeah.
Yeah,
I knew about that.
B16B, Type R trans, everything was JDM. I changed the cluster, the steering wheel, the carpet. Everything was reupholstered in the inside to match the 2 racing buckets, the full suspension. It was a JDM car as much as you could make from not going to Japan and bringing the car over here. I turned the car into a pure JDM car. And that's one Honda that I let go that I really wish to this day I'd still have, because that's a hard color to get. Even back then, I had to travel to St. Louis and picked it up. This is so crazy of a story. Downtown St. Louis by the City Museum, which we love. It's a great museum in St. Louis. If you've never been there, people check it out. City Museum. But there's a body shop downtown. You pull up to this door and you go down into a parking garage, but it's down in a bottom of a parking garage. And I bought it from this mechanic shop, right? And it had no carpet in the back, and it had all this oil stain where the driver had always put his arm up on the roof and like do this and rub on it. And I'm like, golly, man, like, what did you guys use this for? The rear tub where the spare tire was full of oil. They're like, this is our transmission car. We take transmissions out, put it in this car, and take it down to the tranny shop. I'm like, so this is your pickup truck? They're like, yeah, basically. I'm like, I'm buying your work truck. Like this is what we're doing. He's like, yeah, we just don't need. We actually got a pickup truck now. I'm like, okay, so you use this little Honda Civic as a mule. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And then that turned into taking it home and completely stripping it down and redoing it from top to bottom. And I mean, dude, I love that car. I loved it. Missed it.
So maybe people don't know this, but you used to race. So did like you were like were you on the pro circuit? Were you getting to the pro circuit? Did you
I
race
was
JDM? Like tell me your
so
background in racing.
my background is I started drifting with Von Gittin Jr. and all the big pro drifters back in the day. That's where I got my land. I was landed by Cooper Tires. I was in the magazines. I carried around a 50 or 43-foot traxle trailer with the Skyline and a 240SX in it and 20 sets of tires wherever I went all over the United States. And my speed shop, we brought in Skylines before they were legal. Now everybody's got a Skyline. Everybody's got a GTR. But back then, the black market, the gray market was you would bring it in a container and everything would be stripped off of a car in one container and the shell would come over in the second container. And then you would have to reassemble the car when it got here because it was here illegally yet legally. And then so what we did is we titled it as a kit car. That's how we got away with it. Then they called onto that, and then they started pulling all the kit cars out of people's garages that were illegal Skylines that were here, and then that started the whole revolution of a company called Motorex that was trying to legally import them, which they did 66 cars successfully. They imported 66 Skylines and got them into 66 people's hands. And then Paul Walker, everybody knows Paul Walker, rest in peace, Paul Walker.
RIP.
Yeah, RIP. When he had his R34 coming through Motorex to be legalized, the Department of Transportation in Michigan said, the records and all of the recordings don't seem to line up correctly. We want to take and make sure that you crash tested 60 Skylines. In order to make them legal, Motorex had to crash test 20 R32s, 20 R33s, and 20 R34s, and all those crash tests had to go to the Department of Transportation. They would then make that so you can import the cars legally. You'd have to change over, you'd have to put United States glass in it because over there the glass would shatter into a billion pieces. There was nothing to hold the no safety glass, right? And kilometers to miles per hour and a whole laundry list, right? So they do some research on the records and they find out that Motorex only brought over one 1996 33 and based 60 crash test results on one car. So he lied. So there's 66 cars now in the United States that really don't have the crash results. So they said, all right, here's the deal. You can crash test the other 59 and you can stay doing what you're doing. No more cars can be legally brought in and done until you do that, or that's it. And he said, well, we've made our money back now. All right, let's crash test 59 cars. So they brought the 59 cars over to crash test, and then he went to prison for the rest of his life. Big turn of events, huh? Not because of crash test results, because he put a personal hit out on his wife to an undercover cop. And Motorex was closed the next day.
That was a plot twist I was not expecting.
That was a plot twist. So those 66 cars that were brought in have MVIN plates on the A-pillar on the inside to provide proof that those were one of the 66 cars that were brought in. I mean, those are the sought after cars because those were the illegal cars that were here. And Paul Walker had to wait to get his car. They didn't release his Skyline until they got his crash test done. He finally got his car, but the rest of the people after that, nope, done.
So as far as, I wonder whose story is better. Is this guy's story better or John DeLorean's story better?
Well, I mean, yeah. This dude had everything going for him because he was the sole import guy for Skylines to bring him over here before the 25-year loss. Some people might know, you might not know, but I'll tell you, if the car is 25 years old, no matter where it was made, it can legally be brought into the United States and then titled. It's titled as an antique car. So you have the 25-year law. It has to be 25 years or older. So at this point in time, Skylines weren't even in the United States. They weren't allowed here. So they still had 10 years until Skylines could have been brought in legally. And so he would have been, the R34, well, the Skylines back then were so sought after because that's what every fanboy, JDM fanboy in the United States wanted. They just wanted Skylines because we couldn't have it.
So what was it about the Skyline? But what was it? Was it type of
all-wheel
engine?
drive,
Was it
2.6 liter twin turbo, absolute monster, fastest car in Japan. Nothing could compete against it except for the Supra, which we got Supras. We just never got Skylines. The thrill and the taste of Fast and Furious is what fueled the fire for all the JDM fanboys. Oh, got to have a Skyline. It's got to be an R34. Got to overnight parts from Japan. Blah blah blah. So I imported a few Skylines. My R33 actually was fully sponsored by BF Goodrich when it was illegal to be here. So if you ever seen those BF Goodrich banners back in the day, folks, that was like the background color was the same color as the car, and it said BF Goodrich, and it was these huge banners. That purple R33 Skyline was my Skyline. So if you ever see that poster, that was my car. It then got stolen out of my shop on Christmas, and it turned up in New York. So there's a plot twist to that story, too. I couldn't prove it was mine because there was no legal paperwork on it, so...
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
How did you get from racing to, like, were you always collecting diecast while you were racing?
Yeah. I still have my original diecast cars, but when I was a kid, my first truck was a yellow Thunder Roller semi truck that I got from Children's Palace in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I mean, I can remember all my trucks. I was a big semi truck person. Like, I could name semi trucks before I could basically talk going down the road. And there was a semi truck called a Marmon, right? And it had this big square on the grill, and it had a big M in it, big maroon M. And I always thought that was my truck because my name is Mark. So Mark Marmon. It made sense to me. So I just was obsessed with semi trucks growing up. Just obsessed. I always wanted to be a semi truck driver. I could name every truck going down the road. And I always took care of my Hot Wheels because I respected them. I didn't want them chipped up. I didn't like chipped up cars. So I still have all those cars to this day, loose, and now I have them all carded to go with my loose cars. So my childhood cars are secured. I still have every single one. And I've always collected diecast stuff. So my speed shop closed 12, 13 years ago when the internet started to get really big and everybody thought they could do the job better than the actual technicians, which, it was not the case. And that whole lifestyle of JDM culture kind of went to the wayside until it's recently kind of come back to where Skylines are here. Now people are working on their cars again. Nobody thinks that they know what they're doing. Everybody does know what they're doing because they've had enough time to learn about these cars. And so from that point, I got out of it, was recently divorced, now met my wife, my time right now that I'm married to, that I'll be married to for the rest of my life. She's my glue that holds my family together. She's my best friend. And when that happened, I was doing diecast again because I'd stopped doing the real stuff and started doing cars again. And that was an eBay world, just selling stuff once a week and then waiting for the auctions to end on Sunday and pull cars and blah, 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 blah. And then got married, had more children, had to go get a real job to, suffice for insurance, for babies and all that good stuff. And then my last corporate job I was at, I had surgery, was off for 9 weeks. When I came back, they treated me like I was a dud. And I kept warning my boss, I'm like, I've been on this app called Whatnot, and I can make more money selling one ball card than you're going to pay me in 6 months. And you keep doing this, you're going to lose your best salesman. And he didn't believe me, and he called my bluff, and I quit on a meme. I quit on the so long, gay boy, that meme. Yeah. Sent it to my boss, who was on his third vacation for the year in Puerto Rico, where he had no service. And when he got back to service, that was the text message that he had in his inbox. And it was me saying, and I asked for my job back later down the road because, thought maybe I made the wrong decision. He was like, sorry, not happened. But they literally changed their rules for what happens when a person comes back from surgery because of me leaving the company. Because my good friend still works there, and he's like, they changed everything after you because that really pissed them off that they lost you. I'm like, and here's the thing. I'm glad they didn't take me back because I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now if they took me back. I mean, once no regrets, no look back, hustle, hustle, hustle. So the Whatnot world has changed the lives of many people because the online selling concept is literally taking over how things are sold, period. It doesn't matter on what platform. It's taking over any kind of selling. So they say, store you go to their stores are just going to die. Retail is dying because you can do everything from your home and everything can get shipped to your door, and it's cheaper than trying to drive out and find it. And Whatnot has been that platform that has expressed that and really hurt a lot of other businesses. And I can't say what it is, but they have a big announcement coming up on who they're going to be purchasing. I can say that much. And when that happens, I mean, all bets are off. If you're on Whatnot, you'll flourish, and the rest of the world will try to figure out how to get to Whatnot. And then more money, more problems. Infrastructure has to grow because it's terrible in the Whatnot world. They grew way too fast. their net value is pushing like $9 billion in 6 years. They're doing really good, but there's a lot of problems. I mean, that's just what there is. Growing pains, whatnot is, I hate to say it, but it's the way of the future of buying and selling product, period, no matter what it is.
So with Whatnot, like, it's a really awesome platform. And that's actually that's literally how you and I met. That's how I met a
Yep.
lot of the people in this community. And they're really good. Like the people in this community that I met, I consider them really, really good friends. I don't consider it's funny because like, you and I, well, I don't know how much difference in age there are. When we were growing up, when I was growing up, it was always like, don't tell people on the internet your real name. Don't tell people on the internet
Right.
your address. Whereas like now, especially in the monster truck community, there's like gatherings and meetups and like people, there was world finals in July and a whole bunch of people got together and met up because, people are based in Utah. So it's, it's really made the entire world, like when you think of like globalization and stuff like that, it's made, the world smaller, but still big at the same time. Like
Right.
collectors can just reach out with other collectors and connect and become friends and become real friends. So you brought up Whatnot, and you're so you're not just a reseller, you're a collector,
And
obviously.
both. Oh yeah,
Uh,
100%.
and the term reseller, like I use loosely because like that's your, Whatnot is like you said, it's like your full time job, it's your full time business,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You just hit a milestone recently on Whatnot, right?
19,000 followers the other day. For almost
Nice.
50,000 sales.
Almost 50,000 sales.
Almost
That's
50,000. And I've been
incredible.
on the app. I mean, I was literally one of the first 5 streamers in the Diecast division of Whatnot 5 years ago. So when I started, I was hoping to have 10 people in my room. I just, if we got 10 viewers, we could make enough money to make this work. And then in my prime, before all the streamers were let in, I would have 300 people, 350 people in my room on a regular basis. I mean, it would just be, if I would log in, there'd be 350 people that chime in because there wasn't so many other streamers, but the app was starting to catch steam.
Mhm.
Now there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sellers on there, and every seller has 20, 30, 40, 50 people in the room. So the app
Yeah.
has grown big enough that the world is finally catching on. And I preach about it all the time. Your analytics proves how you're doing in a show, how many people have come back to be repeat customers. If you
Yeah.
don't look at your analytics, you don't know how to make this work as a full-time gig. And a lot of people, this is just a side gig. And I get it. It's great extra side money. It truly is. But
Mhm.
for people like me that have turned this into a full-time job, I mean, we sell in other places too, but Whatnot is a big chunk of what we sell because it's live, it's instant, the payout is quick, and as soon as the show's over in one day, every product is in the mail and shipped. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If you think about, you'd have to wait on eBay for a week for an auction to end. Now you wait 10 seconds, and that's a
Well,
long time even. I mean, I do
eBay
5-second auctions.
eBay's caught on because now eBay does live auctions.
Yeah. But it's not, they do it in the card world, and the announcement that's coming is going to hurt. I mean, it's going to hurt eBay a lot. eBay is going to have to just stay in their own lane and just do eBay. They're just going to have to stay eBay. Don't try to be
Mhm.
something that they're not, because even though they're trying and they're big, they can't compete with Whatnot. They truly can't. If they change their entire platform to live selling, maybe. But too many people are on there that are old and like the old 1-week auctions and let people see it all over the world and let it build and blah blah. The world is coming to quick verification, quick notifications, and quick payouts. Everybody wants it's nothing's
It's instant
fast enough.
gratification. Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. So the wait, hurry up and wait mentality is the boomer mentality. It's gone. Nobody waits for anything anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
when we were growing up, because we're only 5 years difference. I'm 49. You're 44.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, so when we were growing up, if we needed to find some information for a class project, you got up underneath your desk and you found the World Atlas and you started figuring out what I got to look up, right?
Yeah.
Now, you just let AI and the Googs do all your work and instant answers.
I had to adapt all my lesson plans and, because I can tell my students, like, look, don't use AI to do this because I'm going to use AI checkers and stuff like that. But now this year, it's like, okay, because I teach film and television production. I told my students, like, look, if you want to use AI to write your scripts, go right ahead. I'll totally accept it. However, when you produce your product, when you produce your content, when you do the credits, you have to put in the credits that this content was written
Done by
by
AI. Yeah.
ChatGPT, AI, and coming from somebody that worked in the film industry, there was the the strikes, and there was a lot of talks about AI and whatnot, and the creator, the union card carrying union guy in the film industry, vehemently against artificial intelligence. But the teacher that I am now, you have to
Adapt
adapt or die.
or die. That's it. Because you can't make it go away. And that's the
No,
problem. That's like
it's
when
not going to go
ILM,
away.
you remember when ILM realized that when Jurassic Park came out, that movie changed cinematic history.
Mm.
Okay. I remember the day that I went to go watch it. Still to this day, I remember the day sitting in there and the brontosaurus walked by, and I went to my friend and I went, "Did we recreate a dinosaur? I mean, is this real? Did this really happen?" Knowing down deep, I'm like, this really can't happen. But I'm like, holy crap! And I remember we watched this TV show called Light and something. It's about ILM and the people that were there that create the sets in ILM and does the stop motion camera and does all the sets. They knew when George Lucas said the wave of the future is electronic and it's going to be all digital, and it's going to have to be, because I didn't make 1, 2, and 3 until I knew technology would be able to catch up to my designs that I want to have done. And then ILM had this, we watched this big show about how ILM, and then all those people realized one day, that day came, that they no longer are going to have a job unless they can adapt to digitalizing. And a lot of them left, but the ones that needed to keep their job, they learned how to adapt to it. And it's because you can't stop it. It's a freight train that's already in motion. There's no stopping it. You just got to figure out you have to figure out how to live with it, because it's here and it's here to stay, unfortunately. And I love when people say it's artificial intelligence. No, it's not. It's artificial. It's artificially learning from everything that's already happened in the world. It's not thinking these things up by themselves.
It's scary. It's
that part's
really,
coming, but
really scary.
it's able to grab everything that is asking. So what about Mater? So it grabs every single piece of information about Mater off the internet and then makes the statement that it does, that you look at and go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense why it is. Real artificial intelligence is when you say it to tell it to do something and it says, no, I'm going to do this. That's when you know
Skynet. It's
Skynet is here. Like,
Skynet.
boy, like it
I
just
got
said
something even
no.
better for you.
Right,
Or
right.
worse.
Yeah, or you should do it this way. And like, I didn't ask about that, but this would get you behind.
How? We got
Yeah.
Hal.
How? Oh my gosh, see?
Can't do that, Dave.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it sounds just like it. I can't do that, Dave.
Can't do that, Dave. All right. So let's pivot. You're a collector, you sell. So as a collector, every hobby has that one holy grail, right? Like comic book collecting, diecast cars, monster trucks, guitars. Any hobby that you could possibly think of has a holy grail. So do you have a holy grail item in your collection, or do you have a holy grail item in mind?
I have one holy grail item I don't have, and that is a French produced airport food truck Hot Wheel, only in France, right? And it's a cab over truck, and the back of the box lifts up like a scissor, and you'd back it up to the airplane, because back in the day you'd be able to get full meals on an airplane. Full meals. So it is literally an airport service food truck. And it is one that I've had in my hand a few times, but I refuse to pay the price of it when it's loose. I want it one carded. And there's a Venezuelan truck that I saw at the last convention that's a $3,000 semi truck in a Venezuela. It's Venezuelan only, came from Venezuela. And I got my eyes open up to a Venezuelan collection that I didn't even know existed. And listen, I've been in the diecast world. I know every air. I know every variation. Mike Zarnock is a good friend of mine who writes all the books on the variations. I mean, I am a literal walking Wikipedia of Hot Wheel knowledge. But I went into a room at a convention, and this guy had a Venezuelan collection that he bought, and I walked in and I didn't know a single car. I mean, he knew the cars, but I'd never seen them. And I would just sat there and I'm like, how much is on this wall? He goes, probably $2 or $3 million if you want to buy it all. And I'm like,
Get out, dude.
oh
No way.
no, because these are so rare that they weren't meant to exist. I mean, they were meant to be ripped open and played with, and they were literally still in the package. And the blister was so paper thin that if you farted, that thing would have fallen out the blister. So for them to keep, I mean, there was cotton in each one of the blisters in a protector pack to hold the blister just in place. It was insane. So needless to say, I don't have that Grail yet, but I do have the Michael Jordan 86 Fleer rookie card graded. That's one of my Grails. And the reason this Grail was so important to me is back in 1986, I opened up a pack of cards and I got the Michael Jordan rookie card out of it. I hit it. This is back in 86 when he was just a rookie. I put it in this thick protector, screw type clamp protector, and it was going to be with me for my rest of my life. I'm like, I pulled a Michael Jordan rookie card. I wanted to be like Mike. Everybody wanted to be like Mike, right? We all wanted to be like Mike. So I get a little bit older, and then I said, you know what? I want this radio-controlled truck, which is crazy because I can't even believe I'm selling you the story because it is literally, the pictures of it is right freaking here. There's the truck.
Get out.
This is the truck right there. Okay, so that's a JRXT Nissan-bodied truck. So I got old enough that I wanted a radio-controlled truck, and it was $247.63, right? And I'm like, I really want this. And my dad's like, nope, not happening. I'm like, dang it. So I went to Defiance, Ohio with my buddy Rich Rosales, who is the star lawyer for Samsung. He is the #1 lawyer for Samsung. He's been in magazines. He's a good kid. I say kid now, he's my age. And his dad, Defiance, Ohio, to this ball card show. And I took my Michael Jordan rookie card. And I looked at this guy and I was like, you want to buy this? And he said, yes. I said, how much you want for it? I said, $247.63. The guy was like, pretty specific. And he gave me like $250, right? So I had my money. And I went and bought that radio-controlled truck. And I said, look what I got, Dad. How about that? We built it, and I destroyed it in 3 days. Gone forever. So there goes my Michael Jordan rookie card. And I thought about that card every day of my life. Like, I let a Michael Jordan, and you know what? Graded now, it could have been a 10. And in its prime during COVID, they were selling for $1.2 million PSA 10s. So, yeah. So, you know, it made me feel sick to my stomach.
You got that truck, though. You got that truck.
Yeah, I got that truck. Yeah. And I got the pictures to prove it. It's right there. I just showed you. Made your stupid truck. So, fast forward to pre-COVID. My buddy Felix and he's my son's godfather. We got a love-hate relationship. We love to hate each other and we hate to love each other. It's just what it is. We've done a lot of trading through our lives. We always bicker that the other person's got the better deal, and it's always a crappy deal, and then we're mad at each other for a week, and then it's one of those relationships. Well, he wanted a bunch of these Hot Wheels, and he was on an auction site and found a Michael Jordan rookie card that he didn't know if it was real or not. And he said, you want to trade for this Jordan rookie card for all those Hot Wheels? And I'm like, I'll be your Huckleberry. Oh. Traded him to Jordan, looked at it, got up because I've been into ball cards my entire life too. So I have a little jeweler's lope, right? So I'm sitting there looking at the corners, I'm looking at the back, and I'm going, I think this thing's real, man. And he's like, if it's not, it's not. I'm like, all right, I'll take the bet. So gave him the cards, and I took the card. I went to my local hobby share, my card shop here, to Andy, and I said, I need to send this thing in for grading. He's like, you want me to look at it before we send it in? I'm like, yeah. Puts it underneath because he's got one of the largest Michael Jordan collections on the planet. His bar countertop is nothing but Michael Jordan cards, and then they put the clear acrylic all over top of it. So it is a Michael Jordan bar with there's a Michael Jordan rookie card in it in the acrylic. Yeah, that's how hardcore. Yeah, crazy. He's got PSA 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of the same card. Michael Jordan rookie. He's got the whole rainbow. So he goes, hey, and I looked at him and he goes, buddy, this thing's real. I'm like, are you freaking serious? He's like, let's send it in, see what happens, right? Sends it in, and I'm thinking, that's going to be a 10. It's going to be a 9, 10. Came back a 5, right? PSA 5. Whatever. So it's a PSA 5. I have a slabbed Michael Jordan rookie card. It's worth $4,000 or $5,000. The heart of my collection, I would never get rid of this card. Fast forward to last weekend, 2 weekends ago, I asked Felix, there is where he lives in the town, which is about an hour away, there's a small Monster Jam collection in that town. Literally 3 minutes from his house. And I said, hey, man, will you run down and get that collection? He goes, yeah, if you just send me back the freaking Michael Jordan rookie card. And I'm like, and this has been an ongoing thing. I was like, you're not getting this thing back. He's like, man, that's what brothers would do. They would get it back. I said, go buy another one. He's like, no, because the story is worth more than the card. I'm like, well, then go buy another PSA 5. I said, or go get me a PSA 5 and I'll give you this one back. He's like, no, I'm not paying you that kind of money for it. He goes, man, I'll pay, what it was raw. And I'm like, no. So the war has happened. And he goes, why won't you sell it back to me? I said, because I'm going to be buried with that card. I said, I was without it for almost 40 years. And I've looked and looked and looked for it. Listen, you got the right end of the stick when we did a motorcycle in my 86 Silverado trade. You made out on that. I said, I made out on the ball card. It evened itself out. And he's still bitter about it to this day. But that's one Grail I can say I officially own a Michael Jordan rookie card, and that was eluded me for all those years. And I think to myself, what would have my card graded? Because it literally came out of a pack, went right in this clear acrylic thing, and held it. If it would have been a 10, I mean, but
We wouldn't be
you can't.
talking right now because you wouldn't be on Whatnot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be on Whatnot. Yeah, I would be in Belize somewhere renting jet skis while I was sipping on Mai Tais, just like, come on
So
down. Yeah.
so you didn't really have to like hunt for the Michael Jordan, like like you said, you kind of packed it. You packed it. You pulled it in a pack. You sold it. You got an RC car when you sold it. Whatever happened to the RC car number one?
Yeah.
After you
Trash can.
destroyed it, like yeah. So you destroyed it. You just threw it out.
Gone.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So then, obviously, you told the story about getting it a second time. How long did that process take? Like about to get it the second time?
Well, it probably was 6 months or so, at least, when he said that he got it, and I'm like, "So you bought a Michael Jordan rookie card off of an auctions?" It was like one of those high bid auctions. Like he saw Facebook had an ad, "Well, I got a collection in," and he went in there and he logged in, made a username, and started bidding. And he's like, I think it's real. I think it's real. And he paid like, what did he say he paid? Couple $100 for it, right?
Mm.
Nothing major. But and I said, you want to get rid of that? I said, I know all these Hot Wheels that you want. And he's like, and then one day he calls me up. He's like, let's do the trade. I'm like, soup, bet. And then I got it graded. And then after it came back real, he was bent. He was pissed. I mean,
So what? No, go ahead.
no, it's like, I mean, I kind of be mad too if I bought a card
Course.
for $100 and then in its prime it was worth $13,000-14,000 in a 5. But listen, I traded him a $7,000. I got a $7,000 motorcycle from him, and I gave him my $10,000 truck. Right? Then he took it to the shop and had a motor put in it and sold it for $32,000. And I'm like, I mean, you definitely made out on the deal like that. I got your ball card, but I graded it and made it worth more money. It's just the fact that this is, and he tells me all the time, he's like, that's the only thing in my life that got away from me that I'm pissed about. And I'm like, well, that means we'll always be best friends. And I said, you can always come over and have visitations with it if you'd like to. And he doesn't like that.
So circling back to the food truck, what's the significance with the food truck? I don't understand.
It was one of those cars that we could never get here in the United States, and it was never produced in the United States. It was only produced in France. It's the only place to get it. And it's an early Blackwall car, so it's late 70s, early 80s, no red lines. It's right after the red lines. So I was born in 76. I never played with red lines. I respected red lines, but I never played with them. So the early Blackwall stuff is my bread and butter. That's my main collection. Early Blackwall stuff, France, American, Indian, Mexican, Venezuelan, the hard find stuff that you can't get, right? Stuff you really got to go hunting for. But that was one truck that always like caught my attention because it was a highway hauler front, but the rear was just so different. How that box opened up and it actually had like the scissor lift on the back, and it made the scissor thing. And I'm like, that's one thing I want. And I remember there was a guy on another site that we used to sell on, and he was from France. And he had this glass case, and he had nothing but France cars piled up, all loose. And when he needed money, he would just go in his case and grab out 2 or 3 cars and put it. The app was called the Toy Peddler, and he'd put 2 or 3 cars on the Toy Peddler and sell them for like.
Sounds dirty.
Yes, 3 cars, $1,000. Done.
What?
3 cars, $1,000. That's how he would get his $1,000. Like if you needed $1,000 for a week or two, he'd sell 3 cars, and he had casefuls of them.
That's a lot of Peugeots.
I do have my award. Yeah, I had an award for selling, I don't know, 10,000 cars on the Toy Peddler before they went defunct. And now I'm like, I blew past that and Whatnot so fast. How many? Yeah, 10,000. But yeah, that food truck, it's a loot. And I had one in my hand at the St. Louis convention just recently, but the guy wanted $550 for a loose one, and it wasn't mint and chipped up. And I'm like, I'm going to pay you $1,000 or $2,000 for a truck. I want it to be carded and I want it to be perfect. In France, there's not very many of those floating around. They only were produced in France. That's it. Period. So it's just one of those grails that I've always chased, but I've never physically bought one yet.
Is there is there something significant about the food truck? Like, is it like it's it's just
it's a semi truck that I've never seen and I wanted to own because I owned like every toy semi truck you could possibly get, and that was a truck that I couldn't get my hands on. So it was like it's a stupid addiction that. It's not. It's to anybody else. It sounds dumb because people are like, it's a highway hauler with a movable back. I get it.
So here's like when it comes to collecting, like it doesn't sound dumb, to be honest with you, because like everybody has like their like their nuanced item, like especially when like with diecast, there's just people that just love like like you got JDMs, you got muscle cars, but then there's always like that's like rent like GT Scorcher, right?
Yeah.
Like the GT Scorcher. I don't know what it is. It's a fantasy car. It's not like I actually just got some recently from Whatnot, like but the GT Scorcher, it's not a real car,
Right.
but for some strange reason, it's just something about this car that I just find so appealing that
All right. Since we're talking about that, this makes no sense. That's a Jurassic Attack. That's a Laura MJ Mom 420 Jurassic Attack custom. It's a blue Jurassic Attack. This one is the new Muscle Machines Jurassic Attack with a new color combination.
that's sick.
Yeah, I love this one. But I mean, that's I like the fantasy monster trucks. I don't know why. I'm like addicted to like Jurassic Attacks.
So that's what I'm saying is you don't have to explain. I mean, like I'm just asking questions because I want to know. Everybody collects what they collect for a reason. Everybody has their grail, what it is for a reason. Pivoting on that, do you have a holy grail item / experience that you pursued in your life that's not a collectible, maybe that's like a life experience?
I mean, I guess here's the crazy part. What some people would call grails, holy grails, either meeting somebody, going someplace, getting a car. I've been so blessed in my life to be able to travel the globe with my parents. I've been all over the world. I sat in front of the Mona Lisa and I said, why is it so small? And I didn't respect being on all these vacations every stinking summer. Now I look back and go, gosh, I've been all over the planet and I don't remember half of it because I was just this kid that was pissed that I was away from my friends during summertime, right? But I've been blessed to have cars. I've had Supras, Skylines, I've had GTRs, I've had right-hand drive cars, I've imported cars from Japan, I've had 1,000 horsepower cars. I've raced with the most famous people in the racing, like I mean, there's just so many names. I can't even name one. Reese Millen, a good friend of mine. His dad, Steve Millen. In the Hot Wheels world, you have the Toyota Celica, and you have the Toyota Tacoma Pikes Peak truck. Right,
Okay.
that was Reese Millen's dad, Steve Millen. Steve Millen drove those two cars up Pikes Peak. So his son, Reese Millen, is a friend of mine, and I got my tires for my drag car Supra from him. He overnighted them to me because I needed them for an event the next day. So the lifestyle of knowing famous people in the car industries in the 90s growing up, being at Nopi Nationals, having my car in magazines, being on TV, racing, drifting with all the famous people I've been around. Those are all, in some situations or some aspects, grails to a lot of people that if they could just do that one time, that would be great. But I've lived that lifestyle. I did it. I did it all just for life, So chasing, honestly, on this, I mean, chasing the certain Hot Wheels has been a grail. Chasing old BMX bikes that I really wanted when I was a kid, I got all those because I got grown up and got grown up money and bought them all, built them all, made them all, the stuff that I wanted when I was a kid. But honestly, I think really truly at the end of the day, the greatest accomplishment and the greatest grail is finding a wife that I'm married to that loves me for who I am and being able to have 2 more children and raising them and experiencing it all the time because my oldest son I got when he was 10 years old and I didn't get to see him very much for the first 10 years of his life because his mom was not a good person. So she dumped him on my doorstep when he was 10 years old and she said, he's yours. I can't handle him anymore. Good luck. And I had him ever since he was 10. So that's what stopped me from racing and traveling the world because I was traveling all over racing. When I got him full time, I came home to be a full time dad, and that changed my life. But it didn't slow me down 100%. I was still out living that lavish lifestyle, and it wasn't until I met my now wife, the love of my life, and the mother of my children, that some people will say that I've slowed down so much, but inside I'm still going 100%. But being able to be a freaking husband that has come so far, and she's changed my life so much. She's made me realize that I can't live life for myself anymore. I'm 49 years old. My brain says I'm 20. My body says you're not. It's bad when you get to be our age. You go to bed and you're completely fine. You wake up and you have a broken leg, and you're like, what happened last night? What the heck happened? Did I fall out of bed? Like my leg's broken. That wasn't like that when I went to bed.
You sneeze and you throw your back out.
Yeah, you sneeze and you're like, I'm going to the chiropractor. Great, this is awesome. I can't stand up straight. So
Farts become
being
questionable.
yeah, you go, am I close enough to a bathroom if this isn't a fart? Like, what's rule number 3? Never trust a fart. That's what it
Never.
is.
Absolutely.
Never.
Any young viewers out there right now, any young listeners, any young viewers after 35, you have to question every fart coming.
That's right. That's right.
I'm letting you
Because
know now. That's every fart that you have coming. You're just like, is it a fart or is it going to
yeah,
be
am I going to be
damage
in the bathroom? Is this going to be bad? So
or am I
yeah,
near Coles? Like, can
yeah.
anyone?
So your body starts to give up on certain situations, but then you start to, I guess for me, and I'm still not a great dad. I still have my faults. My son is probably a living proof of being built exactly like I was. So I'm trying to figure out how to parent myself that my parents didn't even know how to parent. So I'm trying to figure that thing out, which I'm getting better at, but still, you know, I would say my greatest accomplishment at the end of the day was staying married, staying faithful. Because I mean, in my first marriage, I was on the road. I mean, I lived the life of a rock star,
Mhm.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, that was it, and there was no respect back then. It was growing up and getting your head on top of your shoulders and go, man, I just can't be a piece of crap anymore. I need to apologize to the people that I ran over to get to where I am, and I found a woman that put up with me. Dude, I couldn't even put up with myself. Like,
Yeah.
this one out here puts up with me. Some days she still questions it. She's probably questioning it right now as I'm sitting here doing a podcast. But I mean, listen, having 2 children 24 hours a day and being able to see how they have grown up, is a different thing for me, even at this age. Because, like I said, my first one, I only got to see him grow up from about 10 on. I missed 1 to 10. Heck, when he was 3 months old, she said that I was a flea threat and was going to go to Mexico, and so I was off limits seeing him until he was a year and a half old. Yep, I mean, nothing. My parents could see him, I couldn't even see him. So it was a bad gig from the get go. Like you, we were dealt a bad card with the situation, but we got the best thing out of it, which was our
Yeah.
kid. And
Yeah.
like
That's
when
so good. No, sorry.
yeah, when she turned him over to me, I mean, I paid $550 a month for 10 years. And when she turned him over to me, I never got a dime from her. She wouldn't pay me a cent ever. And I said, "It's all right, I don't need your money." I said, "I've given you enough of that." I said, "I got what I want now." I said, "From this point forward." And he went from D's and F's to straight A's. So I mean, we knew he was going to live with me at some point, but it was just that first, man, I tell you what, for that first 10 years it was rough until he could figure out this isn't my real dad, it's my stepdad. I've been calling him dad and been calling my real dad by his first name, Mark, and I couldn't stop that. And that was just, one of those things. I go over to their family events and I go, just time. That's all I get. You'll figure it out sooner or later. So to get back to it, my greatest accomplishment at this point in my life is being able to work for myself and figuring out how this business now is a works for us, and being able to be a husband, a dad, and all that stuff to the family. Because at the end of the day, like I said today in my seller support show, you're no better than I am. I'm no better than you are. I'm not a better seller than you are. When you die and I die, if we die together, we go get buried in the same dirt. You don't take your toy collection with you. You don't take your Michael Jordan rookie cards. None of that goes with you. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. You want your family to say, you know what? I love my dad because he was a kick-ass dad, not because
Yeah.
oh, he had the greatest cars and the trucks. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I think now the greatest accomplishment is time. Like I get to come home. If we want to go on an event like we went to today, we get to co-op school. I went to school. My kids are in school too I get to leave and go all day and teach. Like
Yeah.
if you had a real 9 to 5 job someplace else, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
I always tell my students I spend more time with them than I do with my own kid during the school year. But like it's and their parents, like when we have it's funny, my high school still has like back to school nights and report card nights and stuff like that. Parents I talk to like, hey, I spend more time with your kid than you do. So it's their most treasured, for lack of a better term, collectible,
yeah,
like it's the and to kind of like co-sign to what you're saying, like, as far as like holy grails with collecting for me, being new to the hobby, I have
everything's a
I have my
grill right
I
now.
mean, well, I wouldn't even say that because, like, I collect guitars, I collected amplifiers, I collected effects pedals and stuff like that. So, like, I have, guitars that I never thought I'd like. I have a guitar right now. It's an ES335, country rock ready. It's one of 300 that Gibson made back in 79 and 1979, 1980. Only did a run of 300 of them. And, like ES335, it's like the big hollow body, semi hollow body guitars, like, like BB King played,
Mhm.
and 345 I think was in the one in Back to the Future that Marty McFly plays. But it's like those big hollow body, semi hollow body guitars, and they're very jazzy, very bluesy. They could do rock and roll, they could do everything. But this one, the Country Rock Ready, it came with, it has these pickups called like the Tim Shaw Dirty Fingers, the original Dirty Finger pickups, and like the T top these pickups. When you look at this guitar, it looks like a jazz and blues guitar, but when you plug it in, it sounds like a chainsaw. Like this thing just rips.
Right.
And never was into that style of guitars ever until I picked that one up at a music shop years ago, and like the salesman was like, "Dude, you gotta try this," and I'm like, "Ugh, like I don't that no, why
Yeah.
would I?" And then I plugged it in and just like hit that gain channel on a Marshall, and whoa, I put the card down and I was like, "It's coming home with me today," and like
It's that
that's
meme.
yeah, take it, take
Take
it,
my money.
but like to co-sign what you're saying, like my holy grail item is definitely my kid. Like it's such a cliche thing to say for if you're not a parent, you probably wouldn't understand. Maybe dog parents,
Right.
I don't know, like dog parents, cat
Comparable.
parents, like
Right.
that,
Your
comparable.
Chihuahua.
But like, man, dude, the ghoul changed my life, and in a way that I never thought. And I remember I was when we were when she was pregnant and we were having the kid, a coworker of mine was like, "Look, you think you know what love is? You don't know what love is until you hold your child after it's born and it looks up at you.
Mhm.
Like your child looks up at you." And I wasn't there for the ghoul to be born because I had COVID and the hospital wouldn't let me in.
Right.
He was born in 2021, so COVID was still like very much a thing. And like she was COVID positive, I was COVID positive. The ghoul was born COVID positive, so I think there's something in his genes that makes him immune to it because he's had COVID numerous times after that, and it's never
Love
affected
it.
him. Um, but I wasn't allowed to be there. So like when she was giving birth, I was here in our apartment, my apartment, pacing the halls while she was in labor. And it was like, like I'm just like screaming to the phone, like, cheering her on, stuff like that. And I didn't get to see him until like maybe like a day or two after he was born. And I remember him coming home and just being like, remembering what my friend coworker said to me about how I thought I knew what love was. Like it wasn't until he looked me in the eye and he was so small I could hold him in the palm of my hand, and it was life changing.
Yeah.
Anything that I have that I've acquired in my life is nothing in the 40 years I was been alive by at the time he was born. It's nothing to that moment. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's still nothing. He's 3.5 now. And
You
like
look down at him, you're like, "I made you."
like and I'm like you. I think to myself like, am I a good dad? Am I a great dad? I could always be doing better. I know I could always be doing better.
We always
But like
can.
it's really all about just the moments that we have together. Like that's better than any currency, any super treasure hunt,
Any drug,
any
anything. Doesn't
any
matter.
Grail collectible.
Yeah.
Like it's again, I hate to say it, it sounds like such a cliche, but it's true. It's really true.
Yeah.
Like, and
I agree.
it's really hard to put something on it. It's really like it's hard to put a label on it, a price, a value. Like now
Like
I
I
know
said,
what parents.
people that don't have kids, people that don't have children, and then choosing to not have children, kudos to them. But they never can relate. They can't. Or, I mean, I hate to say this, but adopted parents, I mean, their child is their child, but down deep, the blood connection, it's different. It's different. Like I was an only child. I was adopted my entire life. Always sought for my real parents, could never find them. And then 4 years ago, found them.
Yeah.
23andMe popped up. Boom, I'm the oldest of six. Right. The only people I didn't meet was my dad because he died. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I've met all my brothers except for one that's in prison because my family is, should be on Jerry Springer's show. God bless them. But I found out they were only 2 towns away from me my entire life, and a guy that I went to school with, his best friend is my brother. And I put
Nice.
my brother's car stereo in Toledo, Ohio. I've ran past them numerous times, never knew who they were. But yeah, it's never had a brother growing up, but now I got 6 of them, which is kind of weird. But
Yeah.
at this age, I've lost, and I go with them. We usually go like all the holidays and stuff like that. But I don't. I still don't feel like I have brothers because I didn't have them for 44 years of my life, right? So
Yeah.
I always thought I was a single child. Really, that's how it was built into my DNA. But when I had Braden, when we had Braden, Braden was turned over to me. Braden probably saved my life because I was a raver and I was doing some really bad stuff. I was a resident DJ in Toledo, Ohio at Club BPM, and spinning in the underground rave scene, and everything you see about raves back in the 90s. Yeah, that's what we were doing. Like it was it hardcore. So had not been for him, probably would be in a hole somewhere dead at that point. So he
Yeah.
kind of saved my life from that aspect of it. And then truly changing my life and making me a better dad, or trying to, was having these two. Like Scotty, I wasn't a good dad in the beginning part of my marriage with my son. I just was very disconnected, and just it wasn't a good thing. It wasn't until midway through we had my daughter that I had to realize that, listen, it's not how you live life. And then from that point on, it's just been trying to figure out how to fix everything that you screwed up, and try to be a better person every day, and not judge anybody for anything, because who knows what demons they're going through. You just don't know that. And the
Yeah.
hardest thing is driving behind somebody that's driving slow, right? Pisses me off because I'm a race car driver. I want to get around these people. But it's God's way of saying, slow down, because I'm saving you from a situation you don't even know about. Like, there's a reason why you're going slow. And in your older age, you go, I don't need to be going that fast, because if I trip going high speed and I hit the ground, bones break, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm riding my BMX bike again with the kids. I got my old BMX bike out. I'm like, yeah, let's go for a ride. I put the air in the tires. And yeah, I was like, I got done and I was like, that was a stupid idea. I feel like I'm going to have an asthma attack, fall over, and die from driving down the street. So I'm like, I don't want to wreck, because the last time I was on a bike.
Need a lidocaine patch. I need a
Right.
lidocaine patch.
So when I got back into BMX bikes and started building BMX bikes, I got, this is probably, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I think Scotty had just been born. I got a 29-inch BMX bike and started riding wheelies. I've been watching these guys, like, everybody gets up and rides a wheel. It's all about riding wheelies. It's one ride a wheelie. So I'm out there riding wheelies on my 29, and bike goes out from underneath me. Bam! I hit the ground. And I hold the bike up so it didn't hurt it. I laid the bike down, and I realized, and I went, gosh, I hope nobody in the neighborhood saw me. I look like a fool right now. I just hit the ground hard. And then when I went to stand up, I realized that something was poking out of my shirt. And I looked down. I'm like, what the heck's that? It was my rib.
Get out.
Yeah. Was literally like this, poking through my skin. I'm like, huh. Went to get up and I was like, gosh, I hope somebody saw me. I hope somebody saw me. Did anybody see me? Nobody saw me. Nobody saw me. So I got up, and I remember leaning over the handlebars, and I kicked my one foot into the house, and I came in here, and she was giving, I think, Scotty a bath, and I was like, I'm hurt. I did something stupid. I'm hurt. Come follow me. She comes in and she was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you gotta push it back in. You gotta push this back in. So here I am on the table, this table right here, and I'm like, just get on my back and just push. And it went pop, and it went back into place. But the sound is 2 cinder blocks going.
Ugh.
So that was the worst pain I've felt 25, 30 years from the last time I had my ribs cracked by my best friend back in high school, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, I can breathe now. I can breathe now. Pushed it back in. Knew what the doctors were going to say. Don't breathe, don't fart, don't sneeze, don't laugh. You're just going to have a wrap around your chest, and it has to heal, right? So I did that. It was 3 weeks into it, and I couldn't catch a sneeze. And that thing cracked again and popped back out. And when she popped it back in that time, that was the worst pain that I felt in 35 years, because it had healed for 3 weeks, and I resigned from the bike world, riding wheelies and being stupid, because at that point I'm like, you're not young anymore. This is stupid. You're in your 40s trying to be a stand-up wheelie guy on a bike that you have no why. Why are you doing this? So getting on my BMX bike just yesterday, the day before, putting the tire in, I'm like, okay, Mark, stay on 2 tires. Let's not be stupid. That's it. I just drove the bike up and down. I'm like, you really can just ride a bike without trying to think you're like Evel Knievel. So, yeah.
So looking back, right? What is the pursuit of these grails, right? Whether it be the life journey, whether it be the collectible item, what has it taught you about patience, perseverance, and what truly brings fulfillment?
Inanimate objects are a fun grail to chase, but at the end of the day, that's not ever going to fulfill your true wants or needs. It's not. And listen, if your grail is a Michael Jordan rookie card, and then you get your Michael Jordan rookie card, what do you have to look forward to? You've got your grail. That's it, right? If you put that in the upper echelon of the most prized thing you could get, and then you get it, it's like they say, never meet your idols. Never meet your idols, because they'll always let you down, right? Never get your grail, because if you do,
what's next?
I think for me, the grail now is the thrill of the hunt, like the literal hunt for it. Just trying to go and find a Michael Jordan rookie card at a garage sale in a box. So I found a Wayne Gretzky rookie card, in a box of cards, baseball cards, destroyed baseball cards, and in the middle was a Wayne Gretzky rookie card. Sent it in, got it graded. If it's a PSA 10, it's a $10 million card. $10 million. There's
No
only
way.
2 graded PSA 10, and Wayne Gretzky owns now both of them, right? So it was in bad shape. I knew it was going to be like a 2 or 3. It came back a 3. But I had a Wayne Gretzky rookie card, which is like one of the grails that you want to get if you're a hockey collector. And I, the thrill was you dig through every single card you buy in a ball card collection. Doesn't matter what junky box it looks in. Do not judge a book by its cover. There could be a Wayne Gretzky rookie card in there. And there was. There could be a Michael Jordan rookie card in there. Even if it's a PSA 1 and it's a bad rookie card, like a Mickey Mantle 56 PSA 1 is still $40,000. And there's one that's been folded in half and was in a guy's wallet for 40 years. They unfolded it and graded it, and it still pulled $22,000. There was nothing left around the outside. It was just the middle of the card. So, when you chase something like that, then what happens? I say, your greatest grail is children, life, and experiences at this point, because those are things you can't put a price on. Those are grails you can't price out, right? They're priceless. They're a priceless grail.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
I think like the pursuit, it's like, when we talk about patience, perseverance, and fulfillment, I agree with you that, how do I put this? Like, there's a guy on YouTube that I watch a lot, Mike's Hobby Planet, right? Mike's Hobby Planet. Love his channel. I'm happy that he's blowing up right now. He's a diecast collector. He's a hunter. I really hope I can get him. I hope we can get him on the podcast. I think that would be really cool to have him on the podcast, because that's kind of like a plan of ours. We want to have guests. We want to interview guests and stuff like that. But he always says, like, if you're patient, it'll always come to you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could pay, and this is, you're a guy who sells on Whatnot. There's no disrespect to the reseller community. I respect the hustle, but like a perfect example of not necessarily a grail, but the thrill of the hunt. There's that Boulevard set with the Altezza, the Toyota Altezza in it, right? And I would always find every other car but that Altezza on the pegs. Never found the Altezza. Would always find, I think it was like a Tacoma. I think it was a Ford GT, a Mercedes. Find every other car but that yellow Altezza. So I went to that swap meet like last weekend, and there they were on the table. Some guy was selling them. I asked how much. He was like $15, and I was like, you know what, man? Like, I've been looking for this car. It's not a grail. It's not a grail by any means. It's a car that I want. And I was like, you know what, fine, I'll pay the $15. Like, I'm having a hard time. It's probably run its course on the pegs. It's probably not going to show up. And I swear to God, dude,
the next
day, I went early morning.
Oh, there it is.
Got 4 of them.
Yeah.
Got 4 of them.
That's how
4
it
of them
happens.
just sitting on the pegs.
That's how
and
it
I
always
paid
happens.
retail. So like, if anything, it teaches you about patience. Like you said, the thrill of the hunt. Like, eventually at some point it's going to come. And just to be persistent in what you do, like whether it's hunting for that, that Dollar General Civic, or it's pursuing a college degree,
right?
Or it's, learning how to cook the perfect cheeseburger, or the perfect steak, or whatever it is. Don't quit. Like, don't ever quit. Just keep trying, because what did they say? Like, when they asked, like, I'm paraphrasing, like they asked Thomas Jefferson about like, like, how do you feel about failing at making a light bulb 10,000 times? And he's like, I didn't fail on how to make a light bulb 10,000 times. I learned 10,000 ways how not to make a light bulb.
Make a light bulb. Right. That's exactly right.
It's not about the failure. It's about just being persistent. And then as far as fulfillment goes, like, this hobby and life in general, like people's tastes change over time. Younger guys generally tend to be into super fast cars and all the bells and whistles and technology. And then like the older guys, the older collectors, and older people in general, they tend to be like, I think one of my mom's like ex-boyfriend, whatever, he's got like a 64 Ford.
Hardcore mechanical. The mechanical feel. It's everything's mechanical, not digitalized.
My neighbor, he's got like a 70. It's a Nova, but it was like a later Nova, that not a disco Nova. It's like a later Nova, that like a later 60s Nova that looks like a 70s too. Yeah. But it's a dragster. He turned into a drag car. I think it's got over 1,000 horsepower. It's a straight beast. This thing
fires up and your walls rattle.
Oh yeah, yeah. It takes rocket fuel. This thing takes rocket. He races at Englishtown. I think Englishtown is done now. I think he races something. He doesn't race. His son races. But like, I could talk to him about JDM and he can hold up a conversation, but it's nothing like American Muscle.
Right.
Like this thing has got so. As far as being fulfilled, people's taste change. Like I don't think anybody's ever really fulfilled because people's tastes change.
Right.
I thought my
Yep.
life was complete at 40. I thought I was done. I thought I had
Surprise.
it figured out. And then the goal comes around and now I'm
No
just like,
trucks given.
it's like a fresh start. It's like a new lease on life. And like my
Yeah.
whole perspective on everything has changed. And they always say that. And they always say, like, you're not a parent. You wouldn't understand. Like, become a parent, your views will change. It's totally true. It's totally,
100%.
totally true. Absolutely.
100%. And
So
everyday thought process, everyday thought
everything.
for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always got to go. Okay, no, okay. So I can't just go direct. I can't just get up and go to the gas station because I've got to get up and we got to put everybody in the back, and then we got
Yeah.
to go to the gas station, and then you got to take him out. You got to go inside with me because you can't stay inside the car. And then
Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah.
if we got to go to Walmart, we got to make sure we have a cart. Put him in the cart. So you always everything you do moving forward is like, okay, it's yeah, you're completely changing. But yeah, never give up. Don't ever give up. Because I mean, like you, me, we're both living life all over again. My kids, so I had my kids again at 40. So like you, when I was 40, I had Scotty, and when I was 43, I had her because she's 7 and he's 8. I literally, I tell people, I was like, I started all over again. I hit the reset button, but I'm living life completely different this time.
Yeah.
Where it's a completely different life. And I mean, I complain about it on some days, but I wouldn't, I'm not gonna give this up for anything.
Oh, it drives me
This is
absolutely crazy. The
yeah,
goal drives me absolutely insane.
yeah,
But it's the best insanity I've ever experienced. It's
yeah,
the most satisfying insanity I've ever experienced.
yeah.
All right, man. So we've been going for almost an hour and a half.
40 minutes. That's what we planned on, folks. 40 minutes.
Yeah,
But as you
we
can
were gonna go
see,
for 40 minutes.
we're good talkers, so that's probably never gonna happen. Hang with us, because I tell people this: hang with us. It's gonna get worse. I promise. It'll be fun.
So we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you in the comments. We want to hear from you. We want to hear about your what's your holy grail, whether it's a collection or a collectible that you've dreamed of, or if it's a life experience that you're currently chasing, like if you're chasing a college degree, if you're doing a career change. I know a lot of people are experiencing career changes later in life. What's your grail? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you share this. Again, I'm Tommy Late Night,
I'm vintage.
and this is
Well,
Zero Trucks Given.
that's 0 trucks given. All right, we'll see you on the next one.
Later, guys. Thanks, Mark.
All right, you tell me how to end this. I don't even know how to end it.
We're still going live. Now I'm gonna hit stop.